Verse 375. Where perfect knowledge is, the existent cannot be qualified with being and non-being. And what cannot be qualified with being and non-being? How can there be these two Svabhavas? Sometimes there's talk of two Svabhavas, and sometimes three. And this was covered way back in video 30. Perfect knowledge is very much in the spirit of what was described in the previous verse as buddhi, which is translated as intelligence. And this is the intelligence of insight into what is actually going on. When you haven't got this insight, then what you've got is philosophy. And I'm not quite sure what good philosophy is, except to keep philosophers in jobs. I mentioned previously this book, The Two Truths Debate by Sonam Takcho. It looks quite fascinating, but spiritually it's of no use whatsoever. Well, I'd be quite happy to be proven wrong. The two truths debate. One of these truths is absolute reality, and the other is conventional reality. What's the connection between the two? And apparently these two great Tibetan sages were at odds about this. And that's what the book's about. So Svabhava, I think, can be understood here as truth. And it's saying, how can there be these two truths? It doesn't make sense to have two truths, or three truths even. Because when perfect knowledge is, when there's insight, which means free awareness, rather than awareness which is lost in what it's aware of. When there's this free awareness, well, this is the only truth. This is the only truth. But when this awareness isn't free, when it gets caught up in ideas and moods and feelings and so on, well, then we can talk of these two Svabhavas. This is that of what was described previously as the false imagination and relativity. There's a dynamic there. We can understand it in terms of our moods. Our moods fuel our disposition. Our disposition is how we relate to the world, how we think of the world, how we believe the world to be. And how we believe the world to be fuels our moods. So there's a sort of interdependent cyclic dynamic going on there. That's the two Svabhavas. As enlightenment practitioners, we step back from this. And it's been described in the text as realizing that everything that awareness normally gets caught up in is like the mechanism of a dream. When you're in a dream, you get caught up in it. What are you getting caught up in? What is the reality of that which you're getting caught up in? It's like a dream, a mirage, a hallucination. So the existent cannot be qualified with being and non-being. The thing is, we just don't give it any reality. It becomes irrelevant. When you wake up from a dream, it becomes irrelevant. We don't want to think about, well, what was the reality status of that dream? What was the ontological status of that dream? It becomes an absurd question to ask. At some point, you're going to leave this reality completely behind. Not just the physical reality, but the reality of your own psyche. It's called death. And yet we cling on to it for dear life. As enlightenment practitioners, we've got this privilege of letting go of it now. We can experience the release of death now. But without any of the negative or morbid associations with death. We're waking up. Death is sometimes called the great sleep, but actually, spiritually, that's what most people call life, is the great sleep. We have the privilege of waking up from it.